The Donald Trump and Barack Obama story, are they friends now? We are going to start the story actually back in 1988 with just the purpose to show that Donald Trump has been famous for a long time.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped.
So for most of Donald Trump's adult life, he has been a famous person in real estate, then with The Apprentice. He also would give his take publicly on politics reasonably often, at least. Then, years later, Barack Obama started to emerge as the Democratic nominee, and then, of course, eventually the president.
CNN can now project that Senator Barack Obama has enough delegates to secure the Democratic presidential nomination.
CBS projects that Senator Barack Obama of Illinois will be the next president of the United States.
Okay, so now the year is 2011. I'm going to include this in the video because I think it was just a big deal at the time. It's the birther controversy. Quick disclosure, though, I was not following politics day to day at 2011. I include that because I do think if you're not watching the media very closely, you can kind of be misled. So I'll try to present this, though, just as best as I think I can.
I mean, Donald, I'll put my cards on the table here. I kind of think you've run up as far up this flagpole as you can. I mean, doesn't there come a point where you have to accept that nothing else is going to emerge on this story and you have to let it go?
Well, I think you're totally wrong, and I was surprised at your statement that, frankly, you don't agree with it because you're supposed to be a great reporter, and if I were a reporter, I'd be all over this. I think that his sister is lovely, I have to tell you. I watched the interview last night. I thought she was a beautiful woman with a beautiful voice, and I just thought she was a lovely person, and I watched it. I thought it was an excellent interview, and I'm sure he's very proud of her. The fact is, he doesn't show his birth certificate. He shows a certificate of live birth, which is a much lower standard. He's not showing his birth certificate.
Donald, let me ask you directly here, because
Isn't it cool? This is back in 2011. If you're not aware, Piers Morgan used to have a show on CNN. I think this is a pretty cool kind of look back, just to see Piers Morgan in a totally different environment. Of course, now he has a very popular YouTube channel in the year 2025.
I don't agree with you on this issue, and I have huge respect for you, as you know. But on this issue, do you actually believe that President Obama wasn't born in Hawaii? Do you personally believe that?
I think there's a substantial chance. And I will tell you, when I first started on this about a month and a half ago, I had heard this issue for years. By the way, 70% of the Republican Party thinks that maybe, in fact, it's actually higher, it could be 75%, that maybe he wasn't. And about 30% think that he was not born here.
So shortly after that interview, the White House did release Barack Obama's birth certificate. Again, as I said, I was not following the story back in 2011. I don't know if it was because of Donald Trump, if it was partly because of Donald Trump, or whatever.
The big story this hour, the White House releasing copies of President Obama's original long-form birth certificate. The administration is hoping to put the so-called birther issue to rest once and for all. The president says the country has more important issues to deal with. Quote, "We do not have time for this kind of silliness."
Let's bring in Andy Card, former chief of staff under President George W. Bush, and Democratic strategist Paul Begala. Mr. Card, has Donald Trump done a great service to this country?
Look, I'm not a birther. I thought the president should have done this an awful long time ago. He would have helped to create a climate where you could have an honest debate about the real policies that make a difference.
So just 3 days after the White House released Barack Obama's birth certificate was the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where Donald Trump was actually in attendance. This night has kind of gone down in history, as many have speculated. Maybe it was the night where Donald Trump got the idea in his head to, I'm going to actually run for president.
My fellow Americans, mahalo. As some of you heard, the state of Hawaii released my official long-form birth certificate. Michelle Bachmann is here, though, I understand, and she is thinking about running for president, which is weird because I hear she was born in Canada. Yes, Michelle, this is how it starts. Donald Trump is here tonight. Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac? Say what you will about Mr. Trump. He certainly would bring some change to the White House. All kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice.
Look at him just sitting there, man. This is such an epic video in history.
At the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
On the recent episode of the Joe Rogan Show with Elon Musk, right before the election in 2024, this White House Correspondents' Dinner was actually brought up.
Exactly.
No one's going to be a perfect person, but the thing that they didn't understand about Trump is he's so crazy that if you tell him, like, he can't be president, like, remember Obama did that during that White House press correspondence? There's one thing that I am that you'll never be. President of the United States. And you see Trump in the audience going, okay, motherfucker. Like,
I don't know if Obama said that actually at that event. I'll show the clip later, but maybe he did. I just missed it.
The funny thing is, I was actually at that White House Correspondents' Dinner where, it's supposed to be a roast of the president.
Right.
Trump's there. He's there. He's actually supporting. It's basically, if you go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you're there in support, actually, of the president and support of the press.
Right.
And it's meant to be that you're roasting the president. Like, Trump's just there. He's like, actually, he's like there as part of the support. And then they turned it around and just started roasting Trump. And he's just sitting there. He's like, yo, I just came to the dinner. I'm just here to support.
We know what it was because of, right? The birther stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what it all was.
Joe Rogan's right. I mean, some jokes would have been justified. I didn't even show up on Seth Meyers, like the keynote speaker or whatever, the comedian, also roasted Donald Trump at that event a lot.
It was all, Trump was at the head of a lot of these people spreading this rumor online.
So I think at least Joe has that right, but Elon Musk was basically saying, like, they went overboard at the event. I don't know.
That Obama's birth certificate was forged, then he's actually from Kenya. And what's weird is, if you go back to Obama's early days, there are some things that say he's from Kenya. Like, I think in his something from college said he was from Kenya. But, that could just be, people print things wrong all the time. It doesn't mean he's actually from Kenya. But Trump was one of those guys that was, like, spreading that supposedly false rumor.
Was he pushing it hard? This is the kind of thing where I want to just go and look at saying, what did he actually say?
No, he definitely was. Okay. He was definitely saying, look,
to Elon's point there, that's how I feel when I look back at this. It's like, how do you take what the media says at face value? Like, if you don't pay attention to news for 2 or 3 years and you just read headlines, you're not really that informed. So that's kind of the way I feel about this whole story. I'm like, I guess I'll just go back and look at clips and read headlines, but it just sucks that in society, if you're really not paying attention to the news day by day, you could be misled. I think that's been proven a lot in the last 10, 15 years.
And they believe it.
Yeah, well, but on that White House Correspondents' Dinner, I was there, and the degree to which they attacked Trump at that White House Correspondents' Dinner was really, it was so over the top. It was like making everyone uncomfortable.
Really?
It was really over the top. I think it's like sort of a passing joke of like, a few passing jokes are fine, but they twisted the knife big on Trump in that. And you could see Trump just getting like angrier and angrier and more upset.
I wonder if
it's like, man, this is not good karma, That's what I was thinking at the time. I was two tables away from Trump, and I'm looking on like, man, this is too much, you know?
Well, it's kind of crazy what they made out of that, because that's the kind of guy that if you tell him he can't do something, he's going to just keep trying. Like, what?
It was a big mistake to rag on him so much at that White House Correspondents' Center.
Then, 4 years later, in 2015, Donald Trump announced that he was officially running for president.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit.
Donald Trump then beat a very crowded field of Republicans to become the Republican nominee.
I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States.
As the 2016 campaign wore on, Obama and Trump had choice words for one another.
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS, okay? He's the founder. He founded ISIS. And I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
I think that's the clip Joe Rogan was referring to, not the one from the White House Correspondents' Center, but again, like, maybe I'm wrong on that.
This guy is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief, and he is not equipped to be president. And this should not be a controversial claim. If you're a working person, if you are out there every day working hard, punching a clock, the notion that this guy is your champion, the notion that this guy's going to fight for working people, when his entire life he did not have time for anybody who wasn't rich or a celebrity.
The birther thing actually came up again in Trump's 2016 campaign, and he addressed it pretty much with this statement right here.
Hillary Clinton and her campaign of 2008 started the birther controversy. I finished it. You know what I mean. President Barack Obama was born in the United States, period. Now we all want to get back to making America strong and great again.
Donald Trump then did, of course, become president in 2016.
Fox News decision desk has called Pennsylvania for Donald Trump. This means that Donald Trump will be the 45th president of the United States.
President Obama then met with then President-elect Trump at the White House.
Well, I just had the opportunity to have an excellent conversation with President-elect Trump. I believe that it is important for all of us, regardless of party and regardless of political preferences, to now come together. We now are going to want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds. Please, Fred.
Well, thank you very much, President Obama. This was a meeting that was going to last for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we were just going to get to know each other. We had never met each other. I have great respect. The meeting lasted for almost an hour and a half. And it could have, as far as I'm concerned, it could have gone on for a lot longer.
And then here's footage of Barack and Michelle Obama welcoming Donald and Melania Trump back in 2017, basically at Donald Trump's inauguration. The first one. The second one is, as you know, coming up just a few days, actually. Should be quite the event. We see here Donald Trump getting out there, greeted by Barack Obama, and then Melania comes around here as well. Shortly after that, Donald Trump here showcases a letter that he got that was written to him from Barack Obama.
I just went to the Oval Office and found this beautiful letter from President Obama. It was really very nice of him to do that, and we will cherish that. We will keep that, and we won't even tell the press what's in that letter.
Okay, so that brings us now to present day 2015. I'm basically going to skip over 8 years. There are certainly instances, especially in the 2020 campaign and the 2024 campaign, where you can find, like, I'm not going to pretend there's not instances where you can find Obama or Trump saying negative things about one another, especially, as I said, on the campaign trail. But this moment here, where you could see at Jimmy Carter's funeral, Barack Obama and Donald Trump kind of having a laugh with one another. I'll show another clip here in a second. I think it was like a very light moment. I think good for the world, too, just to see Barack Obama and Donald Trump, who have obviously had a fair amount of differences with one another. That's probably putting it politely, at least publicly, in the public spotlight. I think it's nice for them to kind of share a laugh. Overall, I think this moment was a net positive. This very short clip here is probably the moment that got the most attention online. It's Donald Trump telling something to Barack Obama that he clearly found amusing. President-elect Trump, soon to be president again, was asked about this moment, and I thought he gave a pretty nice response.
Off the top, you mentioned the Carter funeral today. What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other, and we probably do. We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know, we just got along, but I got along with just about everybody on that. We met backstage, as you know, before we went on, and I thought it was a beautiful service, but we all got along very well, which is good.
Okay, so with that, I'll finish the video here. Like I said, I'm not going to pretend like they're just the best of friends now, and they will be into the future. I think the majority of the story so far was written in 2011, and then once again, during the 2016 campaign. We will see headed forward. I mean, I think it would be a great show of unity if there was just more public appearances where Barack Obama and Donald Trump were seen cordial, were seen being friendly to one another. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with this? What would you change about my video? What are your thoughts in general? Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.